Oh my God, Martha, his ass is even hairier than yours.
And that was one of my one-liners.
Oh my God. I totally missed that one. That was awesome.
It's like the first or second lines of the film.
Yeah, I actually like chuckled during that. I was like, yeah, that's funny. Welcome to Screams and Streams, the podcast that looks at the best and worst horror movies as rated on Rotten Tomatoes from 1970 onwards. I'm your host, Sam, and with me are my co-hosts,
Mike
and
Chad.
Be sure to check us out on Instagram. Our handle is @ScreamStreamPod. Also, check out our website at screamsandstreams.com for more information about all the films we're looking at. Just a warning, if you don't like spoilers, we recommend that you stop listening now, check out the film, and then rejoin us for our discussion. Today's film was recommended to us by a fan, and we are looking at George A. Romero's 1988 film, Monkey Shines. It scored 53% on Rotten Tomatoes, so let's get into it. Chad's going to start us out with our summary.
All right. A quadriplegic man has a trained monkey help him with his paralysis until the little monkey begins to develop feelings and rage against a new master.
The little monkey.
I don't think this is accurate because it doesn't really develop the rage against its new master. It develops the rage against people that the master does not like, or has anger towards.
Yeah.
So that's not entirely accurate, but
Like it's a gist, though.
Yeah.
Monkey helps quadriplegic.
get angry.
And they're mad.
loud noises. Yeah.
All right, thanks for that, Chad. Mike, you made us a sinister sip today. What are we drinking today?
Today we are drinking a Monkey Shine cocktail from Steve the Bartender on YouTube.
Ooh, it
Ooh,
looks,
lovely.
looks good. Okay, cheers. Guys.
Oh, coconutty pineapple-y.
Yeah, I really like that.
Mm-hmm. That's tasty.
2 ounces of rum, an ounce of Malibu, and an ounce and a half of pineapple juice.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh,
Well,
yeah, it's delicious. Thank you.
that's a summer drink. That's quite tasty.
I'll drink this any time of the year. It's
I will drink
delicious.
this all the time.
I love it. New favorite drink.
It's mostly juice.
And I'm okay with it. You know what? All right. Thank you, Mike. Our first impressions, Chad's going to start us out.
All right. Well, this is actually the second time I had seen this film. I watched it with a buddy of mine back in junior high, and it was good. I remember enjoying it and thinking it was kind of freaky and stuff like that. And so revisiting it, I didn't think it was freaky, but I laughed a lot. I thought this is one of those movies that if you get a bunch of buddies together and watch that you can have some fun with, laugh about.
Yeah.
There are some silly moments in it. The science is questionable. And again, I don't know a whole lot about science, but there's definitely some iffy parts to it. Yeah, I don't know. It was enjoyable. I thought it was funny in a lot of parts. There was a person that I'm going to get into later that I thought should have died that didn't.
Oh, I think I know who it is.
Yeah, surprise, surprise. But yeah, overall, I did enjoy the film. I wouldn't say if you're going to watch this for a scare or to be serious about your horror movie that you should watch it. But if you're looking for a good time, I think it's a good time.
Yeah.
Hey.
Perfect. Thanks, Chad. What about you, Mike?
For me, I've watched this movie countless number of times.
Oh,
really?
Yeah. I think the first time I watched it was probably elementary, like maybe grade 6. And just like Chad, like the monkey as a child, like creeped me out.
Yeah.
Thought it was like dark and sinister and upsetting. And as I aged and continued to watch, because I do enjoy it because it is ridiculous now. Yeah, I don't know why I keep going back to this movie, but it just gets worse with each viewing. So it had been a while since my last time, and rewatching it this time, it just became laughable.
Yeah.
I felt terrible for the monkey Boo, Bella, whatever she is in the film.
Ella.
Yeah. And just it's one of those ones, just like Ghoulies and others, where it's like I was scared as a kid, watching it as an adult, just shaking my head at my younger self.
Yeah. I was like, how did this scare you?
Yeah.
I'm kind of the same boat. I watched this one time. I want to say it was a junior high, maybe a high school. And I remember being pretty creeped out, like even just by the movie poster. It was kind of creepy with the toy, the creepy toy monkey. And then watching it now, it's like I was laughing at during the opening, like disclaimer of like, no monkeys were actually harmed, even though it looks like they're being harmed.
Yes.
They're all part of the like Helping Hands Club. And I was like, is this real?
Yeah.
Like, it seems like they're trying to cover something up here. But yeah,
let's get in front of the controversy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. We don't want any protesters. I don't want people.
yeah, so it was kind of funny. I thought it was paced fairly well as well. I didn't hate it. Yeah, it was okay. It was fun. Yeah. All right, now we're going to head into our tropes hall of shame. I'm going to start us off here. The thunderstorms. I'll never miss a thunderstorm.
Oh, yeah.
as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, something's going to happen. And then the overbearing mom.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Just crazy. Yeah, it's boy moms.
Yeah.
It's,
boy moms.
I'm not just saying that, but like if you're on TikTok, you know. All right, Mike, what did you have for some of your tropes?
One of my tropes was just a scientist experimenting on themselves.
Yeah.
When Jeffrey injects himself with the serum to see if he can connect with Ella.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
Yep.
So weird.
And then the other trope I had was just one more attack in a dream.
Oh,
where it's like it's all done. It was just a dream.
Yeah, I had that one too.
But he didn't sit up in bed, so I appreciate it. Well, he's quadriplegic.
I don't know.
Mom.
Probably a reason for that. Yeah.
Right, I forgot.
Oh, no.
I was like, I appreciate it that he just laid in bed and was startled awake. But right, he's a quadriplegic.
That's right.
He's not jumping
there
out of
is
bed.
no movement happening.
Thanks for that, Mike.
Kind of the main part of the story, actually.
He was still able to do a lot of things, but moving his body's not one of them.
Still able to do a lot of things, as we'll talk about in the terrifying or titillating section.
Chad, what did you have for your tropes?
Well, I'll have it sets up that this guy's this, perfect athlete. He's got a perfect life. He's got a nice girlfriend, a house, blah, blah, blah. And it's just wrecked by this one instance, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, your perfect life is destroyed by this accident that happened. So I put that. And then I also had the point of view shots running through the woods.
Yeah, I had that too. Yeah.
The animal point of view stuff. And you just hear the breath and the monkey kind of talk and stuff, or like
squeak and chirp.
Squeak and chirp. Yeah. So those were my two. Yeah.
Thanks, Chad. I also had a couple ones that you guys said, and then I also had the mother and girlfriend that hate each other.
Oh yeah.
And it's like so obvious. Like you just met the mom. Like just suck up a little bit.
Yeah.
And
then
then
that power play when she drops him off and gives him the big kiss.
Oh yeah.
That was weird.
So weird.
Yeah, there's some questionable relationships there. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, there sure is. And then my last one was the I don't like this change in you from the girlfriend.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Don't like your change. All right, Chad, did you have any others?
Well, it kind of piggybacks on Mike's science experiment gone wrong. I mean, you start out, everything's, this is making everything better, blah, blah, blah. And then it just, tips the scale and it goes horribly wrong. So that was another one I
had. Very horribly wrong.
And then my other trope is no one believes the guy who's supposedly connected to the monkey. He's saying, something's really weird. Oh, don't worry about it.
Silly.
You're being silly. You're being silly. And he says, no, I think she knows stuff. And, granted, I mean, he is talking a bit crazy, like when he talks about how Ella, I think she knows how to react when fire's around just because you're here. They're like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
But the scientist is feeding her injections that are supposed to be making her smarter and smarter and learning human behavior. So you'd think he'd be like, interesting.
Yeah, you think he'd catch on or believe something.
Yeah, he'd be like, well, that's good to know that you're seeing strange shit, but he doesn't. He's
Let's
just like, that's crazy.
Let's document this for science.
Yeah.
Right?
And those were my last ones.
Perfect. Thanks for those. Now we're going to head into our one-liners. Mike, you're going to start us off.
So I have a few. My first one is when they're talking about after the accident and the relationship. And I think it's Jeffrey that says, hey, if she walks out on you now, fuck her. And Alan's like, I can't.
All right.
And then when he does find out that Wiseman and his girlfriend are together, he's like, I can't remember who says it. Like, well, I'll be damned. How do we diagnose this one?
Oh,
Wiseman?
yes, this is mine too.
Clinical asshole syndrome, clinical rat, clinical snake in the grass syndrome. And then I forget who says this, like, you clinical cunt.
Jeffrey does, the brother.
That was right.
He does all the other ones to
Wiseman.
the doctor, and then he turns to her and he says, "You clinical cunt." And then I was like, "Whoa!" That was one of mine as well. It was crazy. I thought you were gonna put that in the intro.
It was too long.
Yeah.
And out of context, that one line.
That one line would have been just a little off-putting.
Oh,
whoa.
the C word,
What
right?
is, out of the gate?
Awesome. Thanks for those, Mike. Chad, what did you have?
Well, I had when Jeffrey walks around and finds Alan has tried to commit suicide, they rush him to the hospital. And the doctor is just so nonchalant about the fact that this has happened to his patient. He's just like, oh, yeah, well, 6 out of 10 quads attempt suicide at one time or another. And it's just like, what? Is that an accurate statistic? Or like he just throws that out there. And then I had another one where Melanie talks to, is it Nurse Ratchet? Is that her name?
No, that's what he calls her. Marianne.
Marianne. And he goes, you're Alan's nurse? God has given me that burden. Yes. I was like, this nurse is the worst.
She is the worst. Perfect. Thanks, Chad. I had 3 that you guys already got. No, that's okay. I'm happy because it means they were good ones. Mike, did you have any more?
I did. But I love when Melanie shows up at his house to bring all the equipment and she's like, "Hi, I'm Melanie Parker. Are you Alan?" "Of course you are, Alan. You're the only one sitting down." It's like, I'll make fun of the quadriplegic. Awesome.
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to link these two together, but it's when Marianne,
"You killed my bogey." Oh, yeah. That was my,
and then Alan's just, "It deserved to die. It fucking deserved to die." I was just like,
he gets
holy
intense.
shit.
Yeah.
But also, it tried to poke his eyes out.
Yeah.
That was intense.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's it for me.
Perfect. Now we're going to move into what doesn't hold up. I'm going to start us off here. When he gets hit by the car, there's like bricks flying around. He's like spinning around in the air.
Yeah.
Well, he's got weight on his back because he's such a good runner. He needs to slow himself down.
He put bricks in his backpack and he had arm weights and ankle weights.
Oh, no, he's strong.
He's a strong boy. Man. Yeah.
It's going to come back later in the terrifying and titillating.
It is. It is actually. I will get into it later. But yeah, the bricks flying around, him spinning around was hilarious. I was like, no way. And then another one I had was the drunk poison acting by Jeffrey. When it was brutal.
Way overdone.
Yeah, absolutely. Mike, what didn't hold up for you?
The first one is experimenting on animals. And we know it still happens, but this was like the torture of animals. And then my other one, Chad, you've already mentioned it, but Marianne, Alan's nurse, clearly hates her job.
Yes.
Like if you're that angry about helping someone who's a quadriplegic right out of the gate, maybe find a new line of work.
Anything else.
The worst is when she's like, "We never give him ice." And she takes then gives him a sippy cup right out of the gate. She's so demoralizing to this guy who's just gone through this major change in his life. And then horrible.
Yeah. Chad, what didn't hold up for you?
First of all, just to piggyback off when he got hit in the accident. So he's running down this suburb.
Yeah.
And there's all these cars like parked down the side. He's giving high fives to people who are running and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, this dog, who he sees quite far back, comes up and scares him to the point that, first of all, how fast was this car driving?
Right.
To send him flailing into the air.
Helicopter spin.
And then also, why wouldn't he just like, when this dog is like coming around, why would he still run down that area? That whole scene didn't make any sense as to how he got hit so hard, flew up in the air, all that stuff. Just, it didn't work for me.
Yeah.
So that was one of mine. Another one I had was, I thought just in general, the mother's acting was a little weak.
That was mine as well. I was like, Joyce Van Patten's acting.
Yeah, it just
fucking painful.
Oh, yeah. Every time she's in there, I was just, Like I didn't get the psycho, like I drew parallels to Norman Bates' mother, right? And all
Right.
the psycho moms that we've seen, kind of overbearing, and I'm going to take care of you. I give up my business. That we never know what business she's giving up.
Right.
And we never know, like, where is she from? Colorado? Like, I don't know. She flies there and says, I gave up my home. I gave up this all for you. He's like, well, I never asked you to do that. How so? Anyways, just her whole like delivery of lines and her characterization just did not do it for me.
I struggled with that one as well because I started to write it down almost right out of the gate with her first scene. I'm like, Joyce Van Patten, Jesus.
Yeah.
But then I was like, but I've never really enjoyed the Romero films we've done. Maybe it's a director's problem. But then everybody else
Seemed to be
seems
okay,
okay. And she just keeps going back to the well of overacting and like Southern Belle,
Yes.
but not.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, it was just too much for me too.
Well, and she's got the clown makeup on and the whole like I don't know, it was just too much
Mm-hmm.
and still not enough.
Yeah.
I think she should have been a little more psycho.
Yeah,
Like,
a
if
little
that
more
was-
manic or something.
Yeah, because in that scene, and I hope I'm not stepping on anybody's toes here, but in that scene where she slaps him several times,
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I know he antagonizes her by being mean and saying this stuff to her, but for a mom to go off like that and start smacking
Yeah.
your quadriplegic son in the face when you know he can't do anything,
Yeah.
I didn't buy that level of aggression from her.
Yeah.
Especially at that point. So yeah, I just thought she missed the mark in a lot of instances. So.
Totally.
Yeah, she reminded me of the mother from Tommy Wiseau's The Room.
All right. I also didn't like the weird rant that I think it was Jeffrey does about human nature. It goes on forever.
Oh,
It was
yeah,
really long. I was
yeah.
like, okay, shut up. Let's go. Let's keep moving. And then in the, I don't want to jump too far ahead, but in the Ella's death scene, there's no blood on his mouth at all. So I thought that was
yeah.
like
Oh,
fun.
yeah.
I feel like there should
Yeah.
have been. So those were two of mine. My last doesn't hold up is the ankle death, or not. Yeah, the girlfriend when she dies, her like ankle twists or whatever, and she falls really dramatically.
Oh, and then cracks her head.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
yeah,
I was
okay,
like, what
okay.
the fuck?
I did. That's not my back it up moment, but I did have to back it up. Like, did the monkey tie her shoelaces together? Like, where did that fall come from?
Yeah.
No, it was just weak ankles.
She needed some of those ankle weights that Buddy was wearing. She's got to work that up.
All right, now we're going to look at what was most gratuitous. Chad, what was most gratuitous for you?
I thought, and I still like the scene, but it was the killing of the monkey. The way he bites into that monkey's neck and swings it back and forth. I don't know how many times he did. I didn't count it.
It's amazing.
But it was crazy.
Yeah.
And at the end, I just like, wow. That was that was pretty intense.
Yeah.
So that was my most gratuitous.
All right, mine was, it just irked me. I was like almost ready to dry heave when when the monkey was licking the blood off his belt. I was like,
yeah,
and I just couldn't.
yeah.
I have that coming later.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I could not do that. I was like, that's too much. It's too much. Mike, what was gratuitous for you?
The number of times people ring the doorbell at that house.
Oh,
Just like when I go to someone's house and I ring the doorbell, like I push it, I'm like, I didn't hear it. Should I ring it again? And then I always wait like a good 20 to 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Awkwardly, I'll try again. But
It's
these
not-
people are like, every time. Like,
At the quadriplegic's house.
I know,
like,
give me a minute. Fuck sakes,
I'm coming. Ella's sitting there trying to open the door.
Yeah.
Just-
he's getting the numbers wrong. He's opening the blinds, turning off lights.
Like, number 7. Fuck 11.
And it's just doo-doo-doo-doo. That's a good one.
Yeah.
All right, now we're going to talk about what was terrifying or titillating in this film. Mike, what was terrifying or titillating for you?
The first thing I had was a moment that actually would be terrifying for me. He's a quadriplegic and the budgie or whatever it was lands on his face and starts like pecking his eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh God, like just you literally can't do anything but try to like squint it away.
Like-
Just, ugh.
Yeah.
Like, you
Shake
try
your,
to
shake
blow
your
on it.
head
Yeah.
and you're like, try to blow it.
Trying
you
to blow
can-
upwards with like an
But you
underbite.
can see why that would make him so angry, right? Like,
Yeah.
and is that the first time we see his rage?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
then the
Is
bird
it-
dies right
yeah,
away. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he's just like that. fucking thing, and totally understandable.
And he calls for Marianne several times, and
Yeah.
she's just like, whatever.
But he's just
That's only my job.
He has offended her at that time, right?
Yeah, because it was almost like the bird was reacting
Right.
based
yeah.
on Marianne's emotion. Yeah, which was kind of interesting.
Ooh, themes. No.
Yeah,
It's
so
not. It's not that deep, guys. It's not
all
that deep.
animals tie to their owners and
Yeah.
protect them.
Hope my dumb dog would
Yeah.
defend me, but I don't think she would.
My cat will hide.
Yeah, exactly.
Mine will just like drop the ball and be like, "Play fetch with me, please."
Yeah,
No awareness.
yeah.
And then on the titillating side, I just put the overexcited monkeys during the oral sex scene.
Oh man, that
It
was
was
crazy.
weird.
Yeah,
Like-
I have that in there too. Yeah,
Where it's like, I get it. They're having sex. That's the only thing he can do. So well done. But do I need to hear
well
mon-
done.
Well,
Yay!
he seemed
Good
he seemed
job.
very good at it
Yeah,
based on
yeah.
her reaction. But the monkeys, I don't need to hear monkeys also getting excited.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
know.
was a lot.
They were
actually.
going nuts. Yeah, in the
I had to
back.
turn down the volume. I was like, "This is too much."
I know, because she's moaning, the monkeys are going. I was like, oh my God, the kids are still up.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
All right, for me, we already kind of alluded to this, but his stretching and like
Oh, yeah.
at the
Yeah.
beginning,
His
he was
naked
like,
body dynamic
yes,
stretching. Yeah.
I was okay with that. So,
He was pretty ripped. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, he was
Well, I missed
good.
that one. I had two good-looking bodies right off the bat.
Oh, yeah. No, seriously. And then I was like, why? So my series of notes here, it says, why is he stretching like that? Oh my gosh, he's naked. This is intense. And then he goes, and then I said, he's running with bricks. I feel like that would be really uncomfortable. And then I said, what is he training for? And then I said, okay, we get it. He's in shape. And then he gets hit by a car. So it's like, that was my whole opening.
We get it. He's in shape.
All right. Chad, what was terrifying or titillating for you?
The oral sex scene was pretty intense. Like I said, I had to turn it down. They were going pretty wild there, and the monkeys in the background were a little much. So that's already been mentioned. As far as terrifying goes, I think just the premise of depending on something for everything, right? So
Yeah.
there was the moment where you see his frustration where before he gets the monkey and he's trying to just turn the pages of his book.
Oh, yeah.
And he can't remember the numbers. And it's really starting to, just that whole kind of scenario would be very, I think, just such a drastic change when you go from being an athlete and you're going from that would be quite terrifying. And then you have to depend on everybody. And if somebody doesn't take care of you the way they're supposed to, like the nurse, there's really nothing you can do except for your words, right? So
Yeah.
he expresses his frustration through his anger. And there's that part where he falls out of the bed and she comes and like puts him back in annoyed.
Yeah, like it's his fault
Yeah,
that a
yeah.
quadriplegic
She's like,
fell
God,
out
She
of
didn't
bed.
lock it. to
Yeah,
the
and she's
side.
like, God help me. And then she's like, puts the other edge up, which she was supposed to do in the first place. So just that whole thing. And you don't know what people are going to do. The mom slaps him around. The monkey just does whatever he wants to do. The budgie's on his face. Like there's so many moments where there's just no control.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. All right, now we're going to go into what stood the test of time. Mike, what stood the test of time for you?
My first one was just a moment that made me laugh and I just really enjoyed it. And it was earlier in the film. But when Ella grabs the vacuum and starts, like, it's like that little montage of her vacuuming the carpet, dusting the pictures.
Dusting everything. Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it's a test of time because yay, monkeys are our servants. But it just like, it made me laugh. It was just such a fun little moment.
Yay, monkeys are our servants. Yeah.
And
Well,
then,
I think that's kind of put in there to endear us to Ella, like
Yeah.
to feel something for her because it is quite cute.
It is,
Yeah.
yeah.
and then my second one takes a darker turn, but I thought it was really well done, but so dark. Ella kills the mother in the bathtub by throwing the hairdryer in.
Yeah.
And then Jeffrey goes and flips the breaker. And then fries her for a second
Yeah,
time. I was just like, oh my God. Like that was a great little thing to throw in. Yeah.
I liked that too. I was like, yes.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah.
Chad, what stood the test of time for you?
My first thing is I actually really still think the story was well done, even though there are laughable parts in it. I think not the science part of it, but the drastic change in life and how to cope, that kind of stuff. I thought that story kind of stood the test of time. And I already mentioned this. It's the monkey kill.
Oh, yeah.
Like when he bites the monkey and flashes it back and forth. Like it's in several of my categories because I just thought the scene was just so well done.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, what is happening? But yeah, so those are my two.
Thanks for those, Chad. For me, I liked how accessible the house was. The robot house.
Oh, yeah.
For like the 80s and being able to just spout off numbers.
It's true.
Crazy.
Yeah,
And like, wheelchair accessible and everything. I was like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And then I really liked there was one scene where, and that's when he like bit his lip in frustration and it looked like his like canines were like more animalistic than his normal teeth. I really liked that scene.
Yeah.
I have something about that in the research later.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. Awesome. And then Mike, you had one more.
Just Stanley Tucci.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, as Dr. Wiseman. And to be honest, watching it, I didn't realize that was Tucci when I watched it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, oh, that guy's an asshole, blah, blah, blah. And then getting ready for this, I was like, oh my God, that was Stanley Tucci. Oh, I love the Tooch.
Yeah. He's a great actor. Yeah. I really enjoy him in a lot. I remember I've seen him in a few things in comedy. He's quite funny.
Yeah.
I mean, he's great in The Devil Wears Prada.
Yeah.
He's just a sassy, greasy prick in this one too. Like,
and he wears it well.
Yeah.
Right at the beginning at the welcome back party, and he just eyeballs the girlfriend. He checks him out. Like right away, you know, okay, he's picking her up. This is going to change. Yeah.
Well, even with that opening quote, the Martha, his ass is hairier than yours. Like, he's just an egotistical surgeon. Like,
Walks in there and he's like, oh, is he out? Okay, now I can talk about it.
Which makes me wonder about all the times I've had surgery and been knocked out.
I know, right? What did this guy do? And
All right. Thanks for that, Mike. And now we're going to head into eerie to ear splitting. Chad, what was eerie or ear splitting for you?
The attack scenes, music, and the monkey voices in the attack scenes were kind of both. Like they they got you to the point where you're just like, oh, something's going to happen. But then by the end, you're just, oh, I'm tired of hearing this thing squeak and squawk all the time. Like just the monkey parts were both for me.
Yeah.
I guess that's how best I can explain.
All right, Mike, what about for you?
My eerie to ear splitting was just a comment on, it was almost a what the fuck, because I didn't get it. But there's the scene where the mother is bathing Alan. He's over a tub that is steaming. Yeah. But then it's like making boiling water, bubbling noises. I'm like, how hot is that water?
Oh, yeah.
And so it was just weird. There was this like bloop, 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 through that entire scene. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
So So it was just a weird sound effect for them to add into that moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a comment here. Just there was one scene where I think it was the nurse brought the metal bars and like the hoist for him, brought it over, and it actually sounded like metal bars and chains. So it kind of reminded me of being in an actual prison.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if that was really intentional, but it was really at that point where he was just like, fuck, this is my life now.
Right.
Yeah, I was really down. So I liked that. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but I liked it.
Yeah.
All right. Now we're going to move into our what the fuck moment. Mike, what the fuck moment stood out to you?
My what the fuck, you've both already talked about it, but it was Bella licking Alan's blood.
Yeah.
It was just gross. I was like, are they going to tongue kiss? Like, it was just like when she crawled up, I was like, okay. And then she started licking. I was like, oh. And then I was just waiting for him to like slip his tongue out. Like, it was
just
yeah, it was just too gross.
Just start making out. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really upsetting.
Yeah.
All right. Chad.
Mine was the relationship between the mom and the son.
Yeah.
It was just, and when she snaps and slaps him. Again, like I thought the acting didn't match what was going on there. I know she got upset, but the fact that she just goes off like that.
Yeah.
I wish we would have seen a little bit more rage in her.
Yeah.
Before that happened.
Yeah.
But the fact that she did that, I remember watching it and actually saying, like, what the fuck? Like, this mom is just going on, and she slaps him like hard several times and just over and over. And I mean, the guy is going through a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's just no compassion. Even though she says, oh, I gave everything up and I did this for you and all this stuff. And he says, I didn't ask you to do that. But then she just goes off on him. And then now I'm going to have a bath.
And die.
And
die. Yeah.
And that was mine. Well, and also the fact that she hated Melanie like out of the gate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because how dare someone take my boy from me, basically.
Yeah. Oh, you'll do everything what she says.
Yeah.
And she was just against her, even though she was probably the best part of his life at that point.
Yeah.
The other girlfriend left. She was helping him build his life back up.
And she does like parody work.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
animals
No,
to help
what a
people who are
bitch.
I mean, she's a
quadriplegics.
horrible woman. Yeah.
Fuck her.
So
And I think it would have been really easy for them to put in some of that rage and build it up. Like she
Yeah.
could have like slammed a drawer shut or
Yeah.
like slammed the door in a room or thrown something on the ground and been like, fine.
yeah.
Like we could have
Yeah.
seen that a lot more because like no doubt she would be frustrated too. Like it's a whole change in her life, but we don't see those little things. It's just like,
Almost like a misery kind
Yeah.
of thing. Because in that film, Kathy Bates just portrayed that character so well. She just is all nice and lovey-dovey, and then she's like, "Oh, you did that? Why do you make me do this?" And then
Yeah.
she just like attacks him.
You dirty
Where-
birdie.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like I think we could have seen a little bit of that in there.
Yeah.
Which I think would have sold the movie more.
totally. And then for me, something that I was like, what the fuck was when he was like, Ella baby, coming over and was calling her baby. And I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
this is icky. I don't like it.
It gets a little
It gets
weird. Yeah.
super weird. I was like, ew. Stop.
I love that uncomfortable breath you just gave her. It's so gross.
It was really gross and upsetting.
It was. Yeah.
Oh, and she hugs him and like, oh, yeah.
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 Well, I think the first hug I thought was really cute, and I was just like, oh yeah, he's a cute little monkey giving him a hug. That's cute. And then by the end, I was like, yeah, this is
Too far.
fucking psycho, man. It's
Yeah.
weird. Yeah.
Too far. All right. Now we're going to head into our back it up moments. Chad, you can start us.
Oh, goody. I think my back it up was because I actually backed it up was when the monkey goes and stalks the doctor and the girlfriend.
Oh, she goes to the
it
cabin.
goes to the cabin
Yeah.
and finds them and then burns them and stuff. I don't know. I like that scene.
I backed up that scene only because I couldn't figure out where or in what position they were having sex. And that sounds weird. Sorry, Sam, you were taking a drink.
Interesting. Yeah.
Just because it looks like Ella comes out from under the bed, but then their legs are coming from off to the right.
Yeah.
And neither his leg or either of hers are on the bed.
Like, what? And like,
So I was just like,
Some kind of weird position they got going on
There's a
there.
weird
Yeah,
staging,
yeah,
blocking.
flexible. That's what I'm hearing. Oh, that's
Yeah.
funny. Mike, what about for you?
My back it up, Chad's talked about a lot, but it's when Alan kills Ella.
Yeah.
It's just so good. So well done.
And you're like cheering, you're like rooting for him. You're like,
Yeah.
fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Now we're going to move into hiding in the shadows. Mike, you had a couple. What was hiding in the shadows for you?
My first one was just how sanitary is it to have the monkey touch food or things he puts in his mouth?
Yeah.
Not.
Like it goes and picks up.
Not. Yeah.
Because she touches so many different things, like the straw for his drink, the page turning thing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, like no simian will touch anything I put in my mouth.
Yeah.
And then my other one, clearly I was a germaphobe when I watched this, but Marianne's slippers are filthy.
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't.
When she
Oh,
puts
when
her-
the
She puts her foot into the slipper and the bird's in there, but like the outside is stained and brown.
Oh,
It's just
yeah,
like,
yeah, they're
fucking
gross.
hell.
ew. So
But I think that's just to speak to her as a nurse in general, right? Because she's
Terrible at her
she's
job.
terrible at her job. She doesn't clean. And that's what he says. He's like, you're supposed to clean and take care of the house. And it's like, you don't do anything.
Right.
You
yeah.
sit on
Yeah.
the couch and like he loses it on her and she's like, I do it. And then she just leaves, right?
Yeah.
So it makes sense that she would have bacteria bins to put her feet into.
ew.
So-
Bacteria bins. Mm. Oh, gross. All right, Chad, what was hiding in the shadows for you?
Well, I just had a question about the whole relationship between Jeffrey and Dr. Burbage, where he
Oh,
was in
yeah.
the university, and there was just this very like, why are you in my lab? And he was just angry with him all the time. And Burbage is, in my research, they said there was a whole scene where he kind of does something with the monkeys
Right, yeah.
that they ended up cutting out. But that relationship didn't really get established, I didn't think. It wasn't
No.
strong enough to really know why they didn't like each other.
Yeah, I couldn't tell. Like, was Burbage the dean of the department and therefore in charge of the research, but then Jeffrey's not sharing the research or publishing?
Well, that's part of
Yeah.
it. Is
Yeah.
Jeffrey's not being totally transparent with Burbage and telling him exactly what he's doing, and
Yeah.
and he's studying on himself, and he's taking. Which also I missed the gratuitous. The amount of needle shots in this film were fucking insane. Like he and that when he's like stabbing the monkey with the needle all the time. But yeah, he's not really sharing the research, and so Burbage is coming in and saying, "What are you doing?" But he's breaking into his lab, but it didn't develop.
Yeah.
So it just kind of gets left.
Right.
And I wish either the monkey would have gone and done something there, or I don't know. But
Yeah.
I just had a lot of questions about that relationship.
Because it kind of just seemed like he was trying to make sure everything was done.
Above board.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like they're like, well, where's the fucking monkey that's dead? Like,
Yeah.
oh, I sent it down
Yes.
with who? Ah, and then he got all mad. It's like,
Check the autopsy report. It's there. It's like, yeah, but we can't find the body. Ah, yeah. yeah. So,
it's so
And I'm
mad.
changing the locks.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Like,
like, hey,
can you
man,
do that? Like-
I am the leader of the board here. Like,
Yeah.
you can't lock me out. Like,
Yeah.
we're funding your research.
Yeah.
What is happening?
Yep.
But it didn't develop anywhere. So I think I would have liked to have seen that scene where Burbage was in. But in my research, I found out that Orion made them cut it. So it's
All right. Now we're going to head into our bonus features. I'm going to start us off. I only had a couple here, and then Chad and Mike are going to take over with their 13 and 7 pieces. So my first one here was it's one of very few films depicting a quadriplegic having sex. So,
Yep.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
wrong.
there
Yeah.
you go. Nope.
And then it's one of the few films in cinema history to have a male monkey star. Females are generally used because they're not as aggressive as males. So I thought that was kind of neat as well. Chad, what bonus features did you have?
Romero started writing the script. The original script was 240 pages long. And I guess the rule of thumb is one page of the script is supposed to be equal to a minute of screen time. So unless the movie was going to be about 4 hours long, they needed to like drastically cut it down. So there were a lot of things that Romero wanted in there that just weren't in there. And as I mentioned before, they did shoot a full scene where Burbage was doing something with the monkeys and in the lab. But Orion, the studio, didn't like that scene. And they wanted a different scene. They wanted something that ended the movie like Carrie. So they wanted like a cliffhanger kind of thing. And they wanted to cut that. So they screened it for the audiences, but the audiences actually didn't mind that scene.
Yep.
The audiences hated the scene where he got the second operation and was made well.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
And that was another thing that the producers and Orion wanted to put in because they didn't like the fact that he would stay a quadriplegic. They were like, no, he's got to get better. There has to be a happy ending.
Yeah.
And so they forced that in there. And Romero was like, no, I don't think they should. They had a lot of fights about what should happen on this film. So those were my first two.
Perfect. Thank you. Mike.
Couple of mine were the same as those. Just Romero did not want the happy ending.
Yeah.
Because the source material didn't have Alan walk either. So he wanted to keep true to that. And then, apparently 40 to 50% of the film was cut
Wow.
Yeah.
from what Romero wanted. I did have the budget was $7 million
Oh, yeah.
and the box office was 5.3.
Oh.
So did not do very well.
So I watched this behind the scenes of how it was made. The title of it is Monkey Shines, George Romero's underseen masterpiece. And one of the things that the studio also did was they released it at a time that Cocktail came out with Tom Cruise, and that was a major blockbuster. Tom Cruise vehicle as opposed to a horror movie that stars a monkey.
Yep.
I mean, that Cocktail made a ton of money that opening weekend, and Monkey Shines did not.
Yes.
That was one. Romero's wife is cast as the nurse.
As
And
Marianne?
yeah.
Oh.
And they put a budgie in it because they owned budgies at the time and loved budgie birds. So they
Okay.
that's one of the things they did.
Was that budgie one of theirs? Do they say? Or
No, it
They
didn't
don't
say
say.
if that was their budgie or not. I think it was a trained one that was
Yeah,
supposed
probably.
to be in film.
Yeah. So I had Roger Ebert's review. Awarded it 2.5 stars out of 4. And he just wrote Romero loses momentum in the closing passages because he has too many loose ends to keep track of. Somewhere within this movie's 2 hours or so is hidden an absolutely spellbinding 90-minute thriller.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I agree. There are pieces of this that are really good, but it does go a bit long.
Yeah.
And then just another small one, Stephen Root, who plays Burbage. This is his first film role.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's in a ton of stuff, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
He was stage only up until this point.
Huh.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. They had problems finding monkeys for this role. They had a monkey at first, but it was way too aggressive and was causing problems on the set. So then they looked for actual monkeys that were like animal assistant monkeys.
Oh, okay.
The helping hands or whatever.
Yeah, so
society.
they actually looked for them, but all those monkeys had their canine teeth pulled out.
Oh.
So,
Oh.
but one of the scenes they wanted to
Get
use,
it.
yeah, that's kind of disturbing, is
Yeah.
that they all had their teeth yanked because, well, they don't want to make them bite that hard, I guess.
Yeah.
So they found this monkey and it had its teeth in and it actually was working well. but they shot all the hugging scenes and all the emotional scenes between Alan and the monkey while the monkey was in heat.
Oh.
Makes those scenes so much worse.
I feel like stomach turned.
So those are my next two.
Thanks, Chad. All right, Mike, I think you had some international titles.
I do, and that last little tidbit does play into some of them.
Oh, God.
Argentina, diabolical nonsense.
Oh.
That's nice.
Austria called it the monkey in man, whatever.
Okay, yeah.
Brazil had two. One for the theater was Fatal Instinct, and then the video title was Assassin Commando.
I love that one. Assassin Commando.
Bulgaria called it Monkey Affection, which
Oh.
reads
Yeah.
differently now.
Yeah.
China, Phantom Sea Demon Spirit.
What?
I don't know. Denmark, Experiment in Terror.
Oh, yeah.
Was good. Finland, A Message of Fate. Turkey just called it Passion, which might be a problem with trying because maybe it means like the passion of emotion, like anger. I don't know. And then Hungary. I love this one. Sorry, but Monkey Love, a terrifying research.
Oh, no.
Monkey Love,
Monkey
a
Love.
terrifying research. That's crazy.
I hate that so much. Someone's search history gone weird. Sure. All right.
All right, well, I have a few more.
Sure, Chad.
So
Finish.
my next one was Romero said this was the most difficult shoot he had ever done. Any scene that involved the monkey required around 15 takes to shoot,
Ugh,
minimum.
Ugh.
that's crazy.
Also, the monkeys, like they used other monkeys to like, as almost like monkey doubles, but they said that monkeys peed all over the set
Ew.
and also developed an inexplicable hatred towards members of the crew. So when they wanted to make the monkey upset, they just put the member of the crew that he didn't like in the monkey's eye line, and that's when you got all the
Like hissing and
the crazy
Uh.
monkey
Oh.
shots.
At least, well, I'd rather it like unexplained dislike as opposed to they poked and prodded a
Yeah,
monkey.
no, that's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a hairdresser that the monkey hated, and they just didn't know why because it had nothing to do with the monkey.
Do you even know who you are? Like,
And so anytime they just like put them in the way, and it freaked them out.
that's hilarious.
This one was like particularly gross. So this speaks to your like how sanitary are monkeys. While feeding Alan the grapes, Ella pulled poop from her butt and stuck it in the actor's mouth.
I hate
Oh, so that
so much.
poor man. He had to sit there and pretend. Oh my god.
The best would be if he's method.
Oh,
God.
so gross.
Ugh.
Good for the monkey.
Yes.
You know what?
He was like, I'm just gonna do this.
Fuck you
See
for
what I can
using
get away
me for
with.
entertainment.
Uh,
I don't even get residuals on this bitch.
Oh my gosh. Ugh.
Also, Romero had shot all the things he wanted to do, and I had mentioned before that they wanted to delete the Burbage scene and add a scene that was like a Carrie thing. So when the surgery was supposed to happen, the monkey jumps out of his back, and that's supposed to be like the scary scene that happens for them.
Right.
But because he had to go back and reshoot that scene, it added more time to the shoot and the whole process of it. And he was scheduled to do Pet Cemetery.
Oh.
But
Mm.
because he had to go back, he was still in production when Pet Cemetery went into production. And so he had to lose that role and give it away. So he lost Pet Cemetery because he was trying to fix up
That.
Monkey Shines for them. Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. And on that note, that's my last. So
All
that's
right.
all I got for that.
Oh, thank you. Okay, now we're going to look at our watchability scale. Mike, where would you place this?
Oh, it's tough. It is a fun one to watch and make fun of with a group of people, but it's not like, oh, it's a great film. So I'm just going to go right down the middle. I'll give it a 5. It's worth checking out just for the fun of it and a few moments, but not great to go higher than that.
Right.
I'm going to go a little bit lower. I'm going between a 3 and a 4. Yeah, I'm going to go 4, I think. Just same reasons. I think, if you, nothing better. Thought it was a little
Yeah.
bit long, but it was okay. It was okay overall. I did like it. It was fun.
Well, I'm going to go higher. I liked it. I'm going to give it a 6. I think it's worth checking out. I've seen it twice, once when I was a kid and then once to revisit it for this. When I was a kid, I remember really enjoying it. And I don't know. I think it's worth checking out just to see the craziness that it is. But I would recommend, watching it with some friends and not just doing it on your own because, just to sit and watch this, it's not super scary.
No.
No.
And it is more, at this point, it is more, fun than, oh my God, this is an amazing horror film. So,
yeah.
But I'd still recommend checking it out, but not on your top priority list. No. So I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10.
Perfect. Thanks. All right. Thank you very much for listening to us. Remember to follow us on Instagram. We are at ScreamStreamPod. Stop by our website, screamsandstreams.com, where we have information about our episodes, descriptions of our categories, links to our research, our watchability scale, and a page where you can recommend movies that you want us to discuss. And please rate, comment on, and subscribe to our show on any of the platforms where you get your podcasts. Until next time, this has been Sam and
Mike
and
Chad.
Scare you later.